And we're here to do another video on the Leo Ascendant. First off though, before we start, make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel, the page. Make sure you like, comment below your thoughts. If it resonates with you, let me know, If it doesn't, that's cool too. Let me know as well. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the Leo Ascendant, right? Who you guys are, the king basically. You got kingly energy in terms of how you come off, how you act. So we're gonna talk about you guys, and we're basically gonna discuss the Leo Ascendant and how you need to balance out your polarities, right? In each house, also known as an area of life. I'm stating on every video that most Western astrologers go by Placidus house systems. However, in this example, I'm going to be using whole sign systems. The reason being is so that it can reach more people. We don't want any duplicated or intercepted signs in or on house cusp. So this is going to be the reason why, right? So yeah, let's get started with the example. So first house, we got Leo here. This is the order. We got Leo here. Second house, we got Virgo, as this is the next sign. Then we got Libra on the third house. Fourth is Scorpio. Sagittarius, as you guys can see, is the fifth house. Sixth is Capricorn. Aquarius the seventh. Pisces is the eighth. We got Aries as the ninth sign. We got Taurus as the 10th. Gemini is the 11th. And Cancer is the 12th. Right? So let's start with the Leo Ascendant. When you got Leo Ascendant, you got the energy of the sun coming into the house of appearance. Represents yourself, physical appearance, your outlook on life, how others perceive you, right? So a lot of times Leo Ascendants will be known for having the hair of a lion's mane. You guys can have long hair, or if not currently, then it could have just been one point in your life. You could have had like long hair, like the hair of a lion's mane, like I just stated. So also, when you walk into a room, you are the type that's going to be, you're going to light it up, basically. You be very memorable, very charismatic, very much the life of the party. Of course, aspects and other things going on in the chart, different planets and different locations can change the energy, but this is the overall theme. You come off as, Leo is the entertainer, it's the actor, right? And the reason why you come off as the actor, why you want to be seen, because wherever Leo's at is where you want to shine and be seen, be noticed, you want attention, right? So you're coming off in this manner as a bigger-than-life personality is because opposite of that, in your seventh house is your relationships, you have Aquarius here. Now, what does Aquarius represent? Aquarius represents uniqueness, represents feeling a bit more different, feeling more alienated, maybe a bit more quirky and weird, right? So you feel this way in your relationships. You feel a bit more, you could feel a bit more aloof in this area and maybe a bit detached, again, alienated, right? So this is why you come off as the actor, basically. You come off as the center of attention, the spotlight. When people first meet you, this is the mask you wear. Because in your relationships, you feel a bit more aloof and unique. So when we're talking about balancing out these energies, these areas, if you're focused on being seen too much, Leo energy in the first house, then you need to get back to, Aquarius represents progressiveness, so you need to focus on progressing. And also it represents new, so you need to focus on progressing and also going towards new relationships. Alright? If you're focused on kind of being seen too much or just, having that type of energy. And if you're progressing too much in your relationships, if you're focused on new relationships too much, then get back to self-recognition, basically. Kind of tapping into you shining for who you are as an individual, right? You shining in the house of self, first house. So let's go to Virgo in the second house versus Pisces on the 8th house cusp. Virgo, I always tell you guys, is about self-improving, perfecting, and working on. So you need to work on values in your money situation, because opposite of that, in your 8th house of intimacy, sex, and shared resources, right, other people's money, you could be very giving, right? You could be very giving with people that you're intimate with. You also can sacrifice a lot in this area, which is all what Pisces represents, self-sacrifice and giving. So you can be very giving to those you're intimate with, even with sharing your resources, you can be very giving. So this is why if you're doing that too much, you need to get into self-improving and perfecting and working on your own resources. Also, if you're overly giving, right, with those that you're intimate with, second house is your values. So you need to work on your values in terms of why you're over giving, right? That's how you balance out the energies. Now, if you're working on your money situation too much, right, because Virgo is a very critical energy, right? It's where you pay attention to things. I wouldn't be surprised if you are the guys who want to keep like lists when it comes to how you manage out your money, So if you're wanting to self-improve in this area, if you're doing that too much, if you're working on this area too much, then you need to give to your intimate life, right? You need to give to those you're intimate with. That's how we balance out the energies, right? Depending on which polarity you're more so vibrating on, but you may find that it's a balancing act with both of these houses, basically. Let's go to third house, Libra versus Aries on the ninth house. I'll start off with Aries on the ninth house, and then we'll jump back to the Libra on the third house. So you guys are the type that Aries is a warrior type of energy. It's coming to the house of beliefs, so you'll fight for your beliefs, basically. You guys can fight for your beliefs and be a bit more headstrong, as Aries represents the head. So you be a bit more headstrong in the things that you believe in, your philosophies, things of that nature, right? So in terms of how you communicate and how you think, you need to be more balanced, right? You need to be more harmonious, because you could be a fighter for your beliefs, right? That's how we look at the energies. Now, if you're more so in your third house energy and you're being too diplomatic, because Libra represents the diplomat versus Aries represents the warrior. So if you're being too diplomatic in your communication style, because Libra a lot of times doesn't want to ruffle feathers, so you could be the type to where you're trying to keep things balanced and not speaking your mind, then you need to get back to being more independent in your beliefs, fighting for your beliefs, and being headstrong. That's how you balance out the energies, all right, in these two areas. Scorpio on the 4th versus Taurus on the 10th. Whenever you have Scorpio on the 4th, this is your upbringing, this is your home, this is your mother. So 9 times out of 10, you'll go through power struggles with your mother. Yeah, you're going through power struggles with your mother and in your upbringing, right? So this is why the 10th house and you need to seek stability. Taurus represents stability and security. And the 10th house is it's the public world, basically. It's your career. Your reputation. You need to be more solid, because in your upbringing and even with family, you can attract a bit of fuckery, and you move more privately when it comes to family, basically. Your mother may have been kind of like manipulative, vindictive, things of that nature. But also, if you're seeking too much stability in the 10th house, which is your career, if your career, your status, your public image, the outer world, then this is saying that you need to evolve. Scorpio represents evolution, so you need to go through change, deep change and transformation, still with family. And you're a bit more private with your feelings when you got Scorpio on the 4th, and this would have been from your upbringing with your mother, to where you felt you would have had to protect yourself. So that's kind of how we balance out the energies with Scorpio on the 4th versus Taurus on the 10th. Now, Sagittarius on the 5th versus Gemini on the 11th. Let's see, I'll start off with the 5th house Sagittarius. You're the type of individual to where, well, first off, 5th house is self-expression, and also could represent fun and pleasure, children, romance. So, this is an individual, how you self-express, you come off like a Sagittarius. Sagittarius represents the explorer of the zodiac. It represents growth, abundance, as it's ruled by Jupiter. So you could be the type of individual who is, even for fun and pleasure and how you self-express, it's about learning for you, it's about expanding. This could be through traveling. You may like to do this for fun, travel and explore. If you're traveling and exploring for fun and pleasure, since this is the house of fun and pleasure, right? Make sure that you're being a Gemini in the house of friends. So make sure you're communicating. Gemini represents communication. Because if you're traveling and expanding yourself, you gotta make sure you're communicating with your friends and you're not losing contact with these individuals. Now, if you're overly communicating with your friends, right, then you need to get back to growing in terms of who you are as an individual, because this house is the house of the sun, the house of Leo. So you need to get back to expanding and growing. This could be through, again, traveling, or it could be through education, philosophy. You need to get back to that if you're overly doing this. Now, Gemini, when it comes to the house of friends, the 11th house, it can show forth for you having a variety of friends, right? You have a variety of friends, but it's not the deepest sign like Cancer. So it's more of a fickle type of energy. So it shows that you have a lot of communication with your friends, but there may be some changes there. As Gemini is a mutable sign, it's very adaptable. It can change a lot. So some of these connections may not be the deepest, but you have a variety of friends. And that's also because 5th house represents fun and pleasure. Sagittarius represents abundance a lot. So you like to have a lot of fun and pleasure. So this is why you can have a variety of friends, if that makes sense. It could be some goals and aspirations you have around media or communications, which is Gemini represents, writing, literature, books. Gemini represents a lot of things, but that's just a couple of things. It may not fall upon that for you, but this is an example. I'll leave it at that. So let's go to Cancer on the 12th house versus Capricorn on the 6th house. Now, this is work, your daily routines, your health, versus sleep, restoration, spirituality, what you do behind the scenes, hidden enemies, past life energy. It represents a lot of different things. Secret sorrows can be seen from the 12th house too. So Capricorn is a very responsible type of energy. It's the authority figure, the reliable one. So you guys come off as the responsible and reliable one when it comes to coworkers and when it comes to your work, your daily routines. You're more practical in this area. So this is why behind the scenes, 12th house, make sure that you're nurturing, right? You're nurturing to your sleep and restoration state. As you guys can be like kind of the mother behind the scenes, if that makes sense. Now, if you're nurturing yourself too much and your sleep and restoration get back to being responsible and reliable when it comes to your work, even for coworkers, because Capricorn is a boss type of energy, so it can show you maybe being the boss in this area of coworkers. I said coworkers, having employees basically that works for you, excuse me. You also may work with elderly people or the government, as Capricorn can represent that. They house lords in terms of wherever Saturn is in your chart will change that or give more indications of things you can do. This is why you need a personal birth chart reading, but that's just an example. Now, one thing I want to say before I end this video is that you have Cancer on the 12th house and Scorpio on the 4th house. These are both water houses, which are known as private houses. Now, I told you before in your upbringing, when you have Scorpio on the 4th, you would have went through fuckery, and it could be some power struggles with family and with your mother, right? And it's interesting because you have this energy dynamic on the 4th house with Scorpio here, right? So you got to evolve in this area.
But now with Cancer on the 12th house.
Cancer represents families coming to the house of hidden enemies, right? Could be people in the home, maybe your mother or just family, right? Whatever's in this 12th house represents hidden enemies. 12th house is what we suppress. Cancer can represent emotions. Then you got 4th house. I'll tell you with Scorpio here. Scorpio is like having on the 4th is like having a Scorpio moon. So you guys are more secretive or private with your feelings because of your upbringing. So again, you suppress your emotions here and you're private with your feelings. Same type of energy. I just wanted to throw that in here. Now this is also the house though, Pisces house, and it's a house that shows kind of what you dream about. So maybe behind the scenes you tap into your maternal energy and you dream about family and home, but it's some secret sorrows around this area that you guys will have. And being that you suppress your emotions, this is another reason why the mask you wear, first house, is Leo. What does Leo represent? Leo represents the actor. So you suppress your emotions and you come off as the actor, if that makes sense. Leo can also deal with pride too, so you may suppress your emotions and come off a bit more prideful. Not to say all of you guys will be like that, but that's just an example. Some things I've noticed with this archetype of the Leo Ascendant. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to the page. Make sure you share, like, comment below your thoughts. We got more videos coming soon. Holla at your boy.